talking about hurricane season facts as we're getting closer to the start of hurricane season. And we had our first named storm of the season over the weekend, Arthur. It is now dissipated into an extratropical system. It did impact the Outer Banks and parts of eastern North Carolina. And while that might seem early, this is actually the 6th consecutive year that we've had an early season storm. Meteorologist Aisha Scott's going to talk a lot about the facts of hurricane season, why it stretches the time it does, the climatology, and some other things to learn.
I am meteorologist Aisha Scott, and today I was thinking, what did I want to talk to them about? Well, since we're off to another early start to hurricane season with Tropical Storm Arthur, I figure why not talk about hurricane season, but let's talk about some facts. So you ready? All right, let's dive in. So hurricane season actually officially starts June 1st, but again, we're off to an early start this year. It ends November 30th. The biggest increase in tropical activity that we see happens in August into September. And I want you to remember this date, September 10th. That is the peak of hurricane season. All right, let's talk about what a normal hurricane season looks like. Now, when it comes to the numbers here, so we talked about the biggest increase in tropical activity. We usually find that in August and September. So let's take a look at the numbers, because only 6% of named storms happen in June, 8% in July, but look at the jump into August and even further into September. 27% of named storms happen in August. Meanwhile, 34% of named storms happen in September, and then those numbers start to come down. Only 5% of named storms happen in November. So speaking of these storms, where do these storms usually form early in the season? All right, so there are 3 areas that we really need to watch as we work our way into June. The first area is the Gulf of Mexico. It's in the Gulf of Mexico that these storms will either track towards the Texas coastline or towards the Gulf Coast states, say Mississippi, Louisiana, even southern Alabama into the Florida Panhandle. Also, we've got to watch the northwestern Caribbean Sea because these storms tend to move into the Gulf of Mexico. The third area that we need to watch is close by the Gulf Stream over the Bahamas. So basically just off the southeast coast. Actually, Tropical Storm Arthur formed in this region, and there are very warm waters in this region because of the Gulf Stream. And storms that form in this region either track towards the southeast coast, or if they form far enough offshore, they'll usually track out to sea. All right, so speaking of more numbers here, I want to show you the strongest storms in the Atlantic basin based on wind speeds. These are sustained winds, okay? The strongest storm ever on record, sustained winds at 190 miles per hour, was Hurricane Allen back in 1980. You remember Hurricane Dorian, which really impacted the Bahamas. That was last year, 185 mile per hour winds, and it shares 185 mile per hour winds with the Labor Day hurricane, Gilbert, and also Wilma in 2005. And then 180 mile per hour winds, Irma, Rita, and Mitch. And then Katrina, 2005. We all remember Katrina. Winds at 175 miles per hour. Also, Andrew, back in 1992, the winds peaked at 175 miles per hour. All right, let's move into some trivia. So the first question, what causes the most fatalities during a hurricane at landfall? Is it A, wind damage? Is it B, storm surge? C, tornadoes? D, rain or flooding? The answer is B, storm surge. Storm surge is just when the winds from a tropical system pushes the water on shore. All right, what is the peak date of hurricane season? Remember, I mentioned this one. Is it A, August 27th, B, August 31st, C, September 5th, or D, September 10th? All right, the answer is D, September 10th. Remember, we have the most activity in the Atlantic basin in the month of September. And then last but not least, which year had the most named storms on record? Was it A, 1933, B, 2012, C, 2005, or D, 1969? What do you think? All right, the answer is C, 2005. This was a record-breaking hurricane season. 28 named storms, 15 hurricanes, and believe it or not, they ran out of names, so they had to move on to the Greek alphabet. This was an insane year. I do still remember this hurricane season. All right, so hopefully you were able to learn a little bit more about hurricane season and hurricanes in general. Our number one goal is to keep you safe, and we certainly hope you stay safe this hurricane season.
Thanks, Aisha. Yeah, great facts there and tools and tips about, the severe weather season that we're in now as we're transitioning into hurricane season. We will definitely probably see more storms. It's just a matter of time. It's going to be a very active season, it looks like, with very warm water out there, and we're off to an early start.